Every day is a rare opportunity and a privilege for those who are alive to implement and practice what they have learned previously, and another opportunity to learn more, become wiser, so that the errors of the previous days or years will not be repeated today. So we have a new day, we have a new privilege, and we must take advantage of it so that our minds can be transformed, can be renewed, and we get better than we were, like I said previously. Hi, you are welcome to Override. And in today's video, we will continue as a follow up from where we stopped on some of the fundamental errors that single or unmarried people make while choosing someone to date or somebody to get involved in courtship or somebody to marry. Sometimes we have an erroneous belief that marriage is an upgrade on our life of singleness or of our unmarried life. Excuse me. But I am here this time to dispute that error, to dispel that error, for us to understand that marriage is nothing but a choice. It is a choice. In fact, there are people whose lives and relationship with God was working excellently, marvelously well, being able to be a part of the service in the vineyard of God, doing what God has ordained them to do until they choose to get involved in marriage. And most of those people, their marriage has not given them that opportunity and privilege that they had before. In fact, their life, what I mean is that their life is now, putting it this way, that is, their life became worse than it was when they were working as a single or unmarried people. And there are also people who have gotten married, and due to their marriage, their relationship with God is now stronger, and they're able to become a tool in the hands of the Lord. So, in whichever way you look at it, one fact that I want you to understand is that marriage is not an upgrade over a single life. So, don't have that mindset that because you're not married at whatever age you are now, that there is something wrong with you. The only thing that is wrong is at every stage in life, if you are unable to utilize the privilege that state of mind or that state of life is giving you to be the best you can, that's where the problem is. So if you have wasted the period of your unmarried life, the period of your singleness, if you have wasted it, why just trying to occupy your mind hoping to get married? That's where it is sad. But if you're unmarried, if you're single and you are utilizing the period of your singleness or the period of your unmarried life to be the best you can in the hands of the Lord for your own self, in community, in the service, in being able to pour all that you have into the life of others, to also kindle life of Christ in them, I am telling you, you are enjoying a greatest privilege that many people do not have who are married. So, having said that, I want us to continue today in the same topic, as I said, some of the fundamental errors that unmarried people make while considering somebody to date or to court or to get in marriage with. If you do not know the first one, try to watch one of our videos and you'll be able to see the first fundamental error, which we talked about, and that comes like a question, or sometimes us volunteering an answer to something that will lower our guard and make us more vulnerable. But today, this second fundamental error, most times people actually use the Bible to justify it. They use it in prayer and they apply it in real life. But it does not work that way. So this second fundamental error is making a choice on whom to date or whom to marry based on want rather than need. Now I will explain that in detail. You see, when it's a want, it is about what you want, and what you want is nothing but just a desire. And the things that you use as a criteria to measure what you want will not necessarily be what is required to have somebody as a spouse, because there are fundamentals in need. There are central baseline and that forms as a pivot in a relationship that must be in place in order for marriage relationship or courtship or dating to be very effective. And you must know that you cannot date wrong and expect to marry right. Yes, you cannot date wrong and expect to marry right, because every building or relationship that is established on a wrong and faulty foundation is a panacea for failure. In fact, when you succeed in building something on a wrong foundation, it will become very expensive for you to maintain. So many people in marriage today or in courtship are having difficulty maintaining a simple courtship or dating relationship, not to talk about getting married. It's so expensive for them to maintain because there is one problem or the other, there is one issue or the other. All this could be avoided if they have had a right criteria in making sure as to whom they date. Now, there's some of the things you consider want, like people say, oh, I want a tall person, I want somebody who's light skinned, dark skinned, fat, skinny, six packs, abs, whatever shape and sizes you talk about. Those things does not form qualities that are necessary or that are needed in marriage. A person who you consider handsome may be considered the most ugly person in the sight of somebody else. Why? Because it is about what appeals to your mind, it's about what appeals to your flesh, it's about what you personally desire, of which the character, the core values that are required to be in the life of that person may be completely missing. But because it is your want, your flesh appeals more in your own sight. And for that reason, you make a choice based on that. You ignore the fundamental, the keys, you ignore those core values, the principles, the character, which must be in place that makes a relationship work. When you sacrifice that to get what you want, that fills your ego, or this person must be in a certain profession or this profession. So even when you find people with the right quality that you should make a choice of choosing for courtship, dating, or marriage, you ignore it because your mind is so narrow and focused that all you want is somebody in certain profession. See, you can find somebody in that profession you're looking for, but will that person have those qualities that are needed to make a wife or to make a husband? Now, a good husband or a good wife, that's what I'm talking about, or a successful marriage relationship or successful courtship, because every successful courtship will give you a successful marriage relationship. Now, further up to this, the same thing goes the other way around. Whoever you may consider the most beautiful woman might be considered the most ugly in the sight of others. In fact, the quality that makes a person to date is not on the exterior, but which is contained in the inside that cannot change. Those are qualities that cannot change, qualities that cannot be negotiated. So, for our unmarried people, single people, those who are courting, I want to encourage you that when you want to make up your mind, these fundamental errors must not be made. When you choose a person based on what you want rather than what is needed to make a good marriage relationship, that's a very big problem you're making. As I told you earlier, that most time people use the scriptures. I've heard people take a particular place in this scripture where Jesus was talking about, he said, whatever you ask in my name, it shall be given it to you. And people say, oh, it means whatever I ask. He said, whatever. So this is what I ask. And you begin to make these demands and this asking stupidly, ignorantly, rather than looking at the context and the purpose in which that statement was made. So, using misquoting and misapplying the scriptures, and you're not getting the desired result, you do not have to blame the scriptures, don't blame God. Christ still answers prayer every day and still perform his promises out of what he has spoken. But when you take something and put it out of context and you're not getting the result that you need, blame yourself because of either your ignorance or because you choose the hardness of your heart. You choose not to listen to the truth. And then you listen to falsehood, prophecies that excite you and gives you erroneous information. and continuously pursuing shadow, and you get disappointed that God is not responding and answering prayer. So here we are giving you an override, these errors, after which you will return back to the scripture and begin to bring to you what you need to look out for in a person that you will have to court to marry. When these qualities are these things that God says are not in place, it is for you to pick up your shoes and run away. I know this is very short, as I always say, but if you're new to this channel, this is a great and wonderful opportunity for you to subscribe, hit the notification button, share, and don't forget to make sure that you send in comments. Tell us where you see this video, the impact of our videos in your life, and you can send in any topic that you want discussed. We bring marriage, relationship, and family matters in a simplified format so that you can date easily, go into your courtship in a very simple way, not in trial and error, but knowing what to do and knowing who to date. That gives you the opportunity as to who to marry. Until I see you in our next video, I remain your host here at Override, Stephen Achi. You have a good and godly day. Bye-bye.